Well, those guys not invited to the Combine there in Indianapolis, working hard for their shot, though, to play on Sundays in the NFL. Had they gone to Indianapolis just a short while ago for that Combine, they probably would have seen Todd Christensen standing out front with a picket sign saying, "Do not enter." Not a big fan of the Combine, my man here to the right.
Thank you, James.
Yes.
It would be foolish for a potential professor following the accruing of his PhD to then be told by the faculty he was to join that he needed to take a course in sharpening his pencils for tests. What do you think would be the response of a young barrister fresh out of law school to be told by the firm he is soon to ply his trade with that he was required to work on his gait to the courtroom? And finally, how bizarre would it be following the 7 years of school and concomitant residency, a budding surgeon was then instructed that he was being flown to a Midwest city where he would be taught how to wash his hands and put on his scrubs. Inane? Unconscionable? But isn't that what the $8 billion enterprise known as the National Football League does every offseason with their combine and subsequent pro days? It has come to the point now where players are practicing to practice, as once the new year comes, they scatter to Florida, Arizona, and California, where special camps are set up for the various and sundry drills indigenous to these meetings taking place. And who can blame them? Millions of dollars will be spent predicated upon something as innocuous as a tenth of a second in a 40, 2 inches in a vertical jump, or the right answer to a question on a written test regarding whether or not you love your father or know the capital of Mongolia. Don't get me wrong, I do not begrudge Mel Kiper and his minions their little cottage industry. In fact, I'm always entertained by his Pennzoil-fueled Eddie Munster coiffures, along with his John Tashita-like prose about someone's stock rising due to an exemplary backward 20-yard dash. But at some point, there has to be someone in the midst of the Park Avenue cognoscenti who has had the same thought that I have had over the last 40 years as a player, coach, and broadcaster. Is there any symbiotic relationship between standing long jumps, bench presses, cone runs, and vertical jumps to the ability to pass, run, catch, tackle, and block? Rather than dwell upon this unnecessary preamble that has been rampant within NFL offseasons for the better part of the last 3 decades, it is my desire here to proffer a solution. Strangely enough, it would be to take a page out of the WNBA book and have the draft right after the season is completed. February 15th or thereabouts sounds right, as the Super Bowl and Pro Bowl will be complete, but the NFL would still take center stage in the sporting world. With this earlier data, it would afford the young people the opportunity to learn the defenses, offenses, and specific nomenclature, not to mention forge relationships with the coaches and front office. In addition, with this earlier draft, you'll have players with their respective teams from the onset of off-season workouts, which is March 1st for most teams, which means that preparation for the season will be more comprehensive. This will eliminate millions of dollars for needless trips and scouting, as the decisions will be made based upon film work and the body of performance in the games themselves rather than ancillary athletic feats. Also, from a fiscal standpoint, the inevitable holdouts will be reduced thanks to the added time with the players. Of course, slotting the players in their respective draft positions with both a salary cap and then cost of living increases would not only do away with the need for agents, but afford veteran players the money they deserve, as opposed to the respective teams speculating with considerable filthy lucre involving players that are unproven. This is a win-win hypothetical for all concerned, but it makes too much sense in this day and age of the oxymoron known as reality television. It would seem that the specious melodrama created by ancillary characters outside of the league trumped the need for getting it right in terms of player analysis. And that is too bad, because there's money to be saved and better football to be seen.